Digital nomads are flocking to Bali, Costa Rica, Thailand, and other popular destinations. What if I told you there's a beautiful tropical island nation with an easily accessible digital nomad program less than 3,000 kilometers away from Europe? And almost nobody seems to have these islands on their radar, but I think you should. The country I'm talking about is Cape Verde. Cape Verde is located in the Atlantic Ocean off of West Africa, almost 600 kilometers or 370 miles away from Senegal. The nation consists of 10 islands, 9 of which are inhabited. Each island offers different landscapes, giving the country plenty of diversity despite its small size. It is a former Portuguese colony, and to this day, Portuguese is the official language, but Cape Verdean Creole is also widely spoken. I've personally visited the country a few years ago, and I have to say it's one of my favorite countries I have visited, and it really surprised me in a positive way, since I went with zero expectations and I didn't do a lot of research before going. The culture and music is very interesting, and it can be described as a mix between West African, Portuguese, and Caribbean, and a bit of Brazilian as well. Traveling between the islands is pretty easy and affordable, and there are daily domestic flights. Most airports are really small, so you get out pretty quickly. I have personally only visited 4 of the 9 inhabited islands, so I can't speak for the whole country, but I have really enjoyed my stay there and I will definitely be back. Enough rambling, let's go to the part you're actually here for, and that's the digital nomad visa. To invite digital nomads to move to the country, Cape Verde launched their remote working program in December 2020. In line with this program, they established the Cape Verde Digital Nomad Visa, which serves as a temporary residence permit, allowing digital nomads to live in the country for 6 months while working remotely. Digital nomads who wish to stay longer will have the option to extend after the 6 months is over, so you can easily live there for 1 year. As a digital nomad, you will not become a tax resident of Cape Verde, so you will either have to pay taxes in your home country or no taxes at all, depending on how you set yourself up. Obviously, being a digital nomad is not a very good excuse for tax evasion, so make sure you're doing everything legally. The requirements for the digital nomad program are a bank balance of at least 1,500 euros consistently over the past 6 months. That's around 1,600 US dollars. If you wish to bring your family, you will need an average balance of 2,700 euros or 2,860 US dollars. Other requirements are a valid passport, a clean criminal record, and health insurance. The whole ordeal only costs you 20 euros in visa fees and an additional 34 euros in airport fees, both to be paid at the airport upon arrival. The processing fee usually takes around 2 weeks. When you travel there, make sure to have all your documents in order and an accommodation already booked. Eligible for this digital nomad visa are citizens of countries in Europe, North America, the Community of Portuguese-speaking countries, and the Economic Community of West African states. So this has to be one of the best and easiest digital nomad visas out there. Why is nobody talking about it? What's the catch? The first reason is it's simply just not as popular with tourists as places like Bali. And if you would ask people to point out Cape Verde on a map, most of them would probably fail. This also means that YouTube videos about it won't get as many views, hence it hasn't really reached the masses as people aren't really looking for it. But there are a few potential downsides to living in Cape Verde that shouldn't be overlooked. For one, the internet infrastructure isn't as good as in places like Thailand or Portugal, but it's getting better, and nowadays you should be able to work without any issues unless you're dealing with huge files that require 100 megabits a second. Another reason is its remoteness. If you're from Europe, it's not as remote as you might think. There are daily flights to various European countries, and there are 4 international airports. Let's talk about cost of living. You can get a good apartment for around 500 USD in a beautiful central location on all the major islands. Food is relatively cheap, but obviously a lot of it has to be imported, so don't expect it to be as cheap as in places like Thailand, for example. Domestic flights are pretty cheap since the locals rely on them too. The country uses the Cape Verdean escudo, which has a favorable exchange rate from euros or US dollars, which makes things cheaper if you're paid in foreign currency. So all in all, this is definitely a very competitive digital nomad program that I will personally consider taking advantage of in the future. Please let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on Cape Verde and their digital nomad program. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.